So who wants to try out something a little bit different? Well, very different in fact. This is Verdun. This is an indie title that's currently still in early access that boasts to be one of the only strictly online authentic World War I shooters. Now this game is still currently in beta, so of course there are some issues that need ironing out here and there, but if you, like me, are a little bit bored of Battlefield at the moment and you want to try something else, this game is a lot of fun. Now if you would like a chance to try out this title, the guys at M2H Games were kind enough to give me a few Steam codes to give away, so if you want a chance to play Verdun, all you have to do is tell me down in the comments below, and of course leave a like on the video. Now I have to admit I'd never even heard of this game up to around a week ago. My first experience with the title was at EGX last week. Now as soon as someone told me there's a First World War shooter game to try out, I was over there pretty quickly. This is a kind of game I've wanted to see for a very long time. Of course we see thousands of World War II games. Admittedly, not so many on the new console. It does seem to be an old generation style of game. I know a lot of people are wanting to see World War II themed Battlefield titles again. Hopefully that will become fashionable again soon. It would be very cool to see D-Day on the Frostbite 3 engine. But we hardly ever see First World War shooters. As I said, this game actually boasts to be the only online FPS title. Now as you can probably already tell from looking at the gameplay, you can't expect this game to be on the same standards as Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4. Of course it is being developed by a very small independent team. But that said, graphically I am very impressed. Now whilst this game hasn't been optimised that well yet, it does run pretty well. I am running this now in ultra settings, getting around 70 to 80 frames. Now the game itself is very brutal and very unforgiving. We're talking one-shot kills with a rifle to any part of the body from any distance, one shot with a pistol from close range, maybe two at a little bit of a distance, grenades will kill you instantly, mortars will kill you instantly, if you get stuck in barbed wire for too long, that will kill you as well. So it's a very brutal game, very unforgiving, but just what you would expect from a World War I style game. Of course, this was a pretty brutal period of history. Now just like Battlefield, this game has very team and squad orientated gameplay. Each team is broken down into squads of 4, as you can see in the left hand corner, and within those squads each player is given a specific role. You have a commander that can call in mortar strikes, gas strikes, also give away positions that you need to attack, and also players in that squad can spawn on the commander. You also have 2 different types of riflemen, which of course can take out targets at further distances, and you have a machine gunner to lay down covering fire. So working as a squad, communicating with your team is vital in this game, probably a lot more so than it is in Battlefield. Trying to storm into the enemy trenches across no man's land without your commander calling in a mortar strike or even having a machine gun laying down covering fire can prove very difficult. Now currently with the beta version of the game there are about 4 or 5 different maps to play, all of which are in trench based scenarios. Now you will be surprised at how many different style trench maps you can get, and they do play very differently, they do look very cool. I'll try and fit as many of those maps into this video as I possibly can, but currently there is only one game mode to play with the beta. Now this game mode is very cool. Of course it's based around the trench warfare, so it's something we've never really seen in an FPS game before. So at the beginning of the round, the opposing teams are facing each other in opposing trenches, and one team will have to try and attack the enemy trench. Now if you successfully manage to get into that trench, just like Conquest in Battlefield, there's a timer and you have to try and hold that area for as long as possible. Now if you successfully take that trench, the enemy team will have to fall back to the next trench behind them, and once again you have to then attack. Now if you don't actually manage to hold that trench for long enough, the enemy team then get a chance to counter-attack and try and push you back. So it's basically a tug of war from one trench to another. Now I've had games that slogged it out for 45 minutes just between one trench because both teams are in a stalemate, pushing each other backwards and forwards. And I've had games where one team just absolutely annihilate the other team and constantly push them back from one trench to the next. So the game mode does have a pretty authentic World War I style to it. It's pretty cool when you're charging across no man's land, then suddenly realise they're on the counter-attack and you have to turn around and try and sprint back to your own trenches before you get shot in the back. Now the servers themselves play anything up to 32 players, which can be a lot of fun. The maps are absolutely huge, but just like Rush in Battlefield, the areas are locked off until you slowly either push an enemy team back or have to retreat yourself. Now of course, being a First World War themed game, there are multiple factions to play as. I think currently for the Central Powers it's just the Germans and the Russians, but on the Western Powers we have the French, the British, and I think they're currently adding the Canadians and the Americans, but I may be wrong with that, but there are definitely French and British troops to play as at the moment. Now, I've got to admit, just like most online shooters, this game can get very frustrating. You do die a lot and you don't live very long. Of course, those one-shot deaths mean you die pretty quickly, especially when you're charging across no man's ground with snipers and machine gunners firing at you. It can prove pretty difficult, but when you're on the defense and you've got waves of players charging at you and you're just taking them out one shot at a time with a bolt-action rifle from across the map, it does feel pretty satisfying. Now, originally, I didn't think I'd be playing this game for long, but already in a few days, I've racked up about 15 hours playtime because this game is a hell of a lot of fun, so I would recommend it. You can find it on Steam. Of course, it is early access, so it's quite cheap at the moment, but as I said, I do have some codes to give away, so if you want a chance to play this game, just leave a comment down below, any real comment what your thoughts are on this title, and of course, leave a like on the video. Now, if you would like to see more videos about this game, just tell me down below, and if you did enjoy, a like is really appreciated. But in the meantime, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.